Hello, my budgeting friends. How are you doing today? Welcome back to Managing Mona's Moolah. I am Mona. Welcome if you're new here. This channel is all about bi-weekly paycheck budgeting, monthly budgeting, tracking my mortgage to pay it off early so I can retire early, cash stuffing my savings challenges and cash envelopes. So if any of that interests you, I welcome you to join. Today I have my little Hershey Kisses to give me energy to close out this monthly budget for January. My favorite little chocolate kisses are the ones with almonds. Which ones are your favorites? And this time of the year, I have to be careful when I go to the grocery store because there's like aisle after aisle of candy and I just have a weakness for candy. So I have to close out my budget, and I must admit I'm not good at this. I try to make this as easy as possible because sometimes I overthink things. So I am going to go to my monthly January spread. And I know that all this has cleared for the month. What I went and did was I filled out these expense trackers for paycheck 1 and paycheck number 2. And I also listed my starting balance of $53.99. And I also listed my ending checking account balance of $56.93. So I have my starting balance and my ending balance at the beginning and at the end of January. And I color coded all the cost categories. All my categories, I added them all up. And I can tell by which paycheck my utilities were paid, for example. So I summed everything up. What I've noticed is there is a page that says, where did my money go? Monthly budget category breakdown. This is just a different way of presenting your monthly budget and what happened. And this is just a different way of presenting the information. One of the stark differences that I see is that this will provide you a percentage of what category in relation to your total inflow. So if you're into percentages, you can calculate that. So for example, I did the first line, which is mortgage payment, and I calculated that as a percentage of my total monthly inflow, and it came out to 35.6%. I'm not into percentages, and I don't really care about percentages, but some people do. What I care about is, and why I'm doing this video, is to see where I spent my money and record it so I don't stay wondering, well, where did it all go? Where did my paychecks go? And I can easily see that from my expense trackers. And I know that there are many different ways that we can use these expense trackers. I think there's like 6 of them in here in this workbook. But I found the most reasonable way in my mind. And I don't go back at the end of the pay period and say, oh, I have $4.57 left in my allowance. No. What I do with any leftover money is I put it into my savings challenges. A few days ago, I posted a video and I saved $400 into my 100 envelope savings challenge. And much of that came from here, unused money. I don't go back and figure out how much I have at the end of the pay period or at the end of the month, because once I take it out in cash, I consider it spent. I don't track every penny. I know what the money is for, and what I allotted it for, and that's what it's supposed to be spent on. And if I have rollover, I can carry it over into the next pay period or the next month, or I can stuff one of my savings challenges. So that's the way I view things. So I want to see, how did I do? What happened before January even started? I prepared this monthly budget with all of you, and I gave it my best shot of what I was going to bring in for the month, what my fixed expenses were, what I was going to pay towards my debt, my variable expenses, and what I predicted I would be saving. So my paychecks varied during the month of January. It's going to take a bit for them to stabilize. I'm hoping my next paycheck will be stable. All these changes at this time of year with tax rates and insurance rates, it's throwing everything off. So as you can see, the only thing that I did get right was my carryover. So what I'm going to do is add these up, what I actually brought in for January in my paychecks, and come up with an actual total here. So $53.99 plus my first paycheck of January, $24.73.01, plus my second paycheck in January of $24.81.53. So I can tell right off the bat that my actual dollar value was $5,008.53. So I'm going to move to my fixed expenses. My mortgage did post. This dollar value was $1785.49. The water bill, home security, cell phone, and internet all were exactly as I had budgeted. So I'm going to add these up, and it should be equal to that budgeted amount. $1785.49 plus $70.63 plus $66.48 plus 63 plus 50, and it does indeed give me that $2,035.60. So at least this part I was pretty accurate, right? At least I have those utilities and my mortgage figured out. Let's move down to my debt section. Now, when I was doing that breakout on my expense tracker here, I was able to pay extra to my mortgage with the first paycheck in January and the second paycheck in January. So extra to my debt was not $425, it was actually $821. So I am going to put $821 here. And extra to my escrow account in January was $125. So I'm going to add these together. 821 plus 125. So that comes out to actual $946 spent on my debt. Now, I had originally estimated $550. So that $396 over, you're going to see how that affected my variable expenses and what I was able to save. Because the more we have to pay our debt, the less we can take out in cash for our living expenses, and the less I can put into my savings challenges and into my savings account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to my variable expenses, and based on my expense trackers I see that I did take $200 for my allowance. I did take $300 for my groceries, for my car juice. I was only able to take out $25. My fur kids, I budgeted $100. But I only took out $70. Miscellaneous, I was only able to take out $20 in cash for miscellaneous. Giving, I did do $40. $20 per paycheck. There's 20 there and 20 there. So health and beauty, I budgeted 100, but I was only able to set back $50. My car insurance only got $50. And gifts got $50 as well. So I'm going to add these together. $200 went to my allowance. $300 to groceries, $25 for car juice, $70 for fur kids, $20 for miscellaneous, $40 for giving, $50 for health and beauty, $50 for car insurance, and $50 for gifts. So that totals $805. I only took out $805 in cash. I was really planning on $930. So I was only able to do $805 for my variable expenses. So then for my savings, I did the same thing. My savings is in this pretty light green color. So I just went per paycheck. And the only time I really saved anything from my paychecks was with paycheck number 1. So instead of $1,012.15, I only transferred $825. I was able to take out $200 for my 100 envelope savings challenge from my paychecks. Jar of Hearts, I only took out $90. Let It Bloom, actual was equivalent to budgeted. And finally, at the end of the month, my buffer was not $100. It was only $56.93. So I'm going to add what actually occurred from this spent column. $200 to my 100 envelope, $90 here, $50 here, $825 transferred, and $56.93 is my buffer going into February and what matches my checking account as of today. I was only able to save $1,221.93. These $4 values should equal $5,853. So let me add these together. So those $2,035.60 plus 805 plus 946 plus 1,221.93, and my total expenses $5,853. $8.53. Oh, and I forgot to bring my total actual income for the month. $5,008.53. And if I take my total income of $5,853 minus my total expenses of $5,853, I do get a 0. So this is very eye-opening to me. I've never done one of these before, but I can see the benefit. It tells me that when I pay extra to my debt, I don't get to save that much. But in retrospect, I get to see where every dollar went. There's no guessing. There's no where did my money go problems, because I know where every dollar went. I think I will set up a monthly budget for February, so stand by for that. Remember, this is just from my paychecks. This is not from any leftover money that I might have had. Maybe I had some extra money, spending money that I didn't spend, extra grocery money, money that I might have earned through the sale of that little bracelet that was broken. Remember, I sold that bracelet. So all that extra money, I just put it into my 100 envelope savings challenge. So when something gets accumulated in my wallet, this is my little change jar. And when I have extra change, I'll just put it in there and take it over to the bank once it gets full. And I can stuff this money as well. All right, well, that's it for me for today. Thank you for sticking around and for spending a little bit of time with me today. And I will see you back very soon. I'm going to have a mortgage update. And like I said, I'm going to have a monthly budget for February coming up. So come on back and spend time with me. I wish you a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you're at. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. Bye.